Your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Uh-oh. Welcome into another episode of Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I have the YouTube up on my phone right now, so that was my fear when you heard me say ruh-roh. What's up, Robbie?
What's going on, dude? You're looking nice.
Yeah, I figured. So there was an actual decision made here, right? I had my Christmas party for work, and I am very much an advocate for wear whatever you're comfortable in. I was like, you know what? I might as well wear my nice clothes that I wore to this Christmas party. You know, first time ever being seen on the pod like this.
I like it. I mean, you don't get out much, so when you dress up, you gotta look good.
Yeah, that's right. I get out. They let me out about every 6 months. I get out. Okay. Yeah. Solid. I escape from. Yeah. Then who knows what happens? Honestly. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's just when I get out there and people interact with me, they're like, man.
What happened to this kid?
This dude lives in a basement, doesn't he?
Just sits in front of a camera and talks all day to himself.
Weird. I can't get over how weird life is working from home. It just changes everything. And then you have it in these Christmas parties where it's very different, right? Like these are people that would have been in an office space with me where I would have clowned with them. I would have been like what I would consider friends or work friends with them. And now it's kind of this like, hey, how are you? Like, yeah, we chatted 6 months ago on that meeting. And like, it's just so different, dude. And it makes you anxious and it's awkward. All of the things, dude. It's real rough.
Hopefully you made some friends.
No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, just kidding. Hopefully I did. But then you go and play back all these interactions that you had. You're like, man, I hope I didn't say something stupid there. But knowing me, I say something stupid always. So
this is true.
Maybe I need to just stop replaying it and just own up to. Well, I own up to it. Just accept that I'm a bozo. Anyways, we got a Thursday night preview tonight. Man, I don't think I put that in the topic. In the title. Las Vegas are minus 6.5 against at the LA Rams. The over under. Oh, that's another. That's why, Robbie. This was from last week. It all makes sense now.
Yep.
Over under is 43.5. So let's talk about Vegas. Let's talk about the Raiders.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs and Devontae. I think they're 1-1 in both of their positions.
Steph Diggs is wide receiver 1.
Oh, is he? Okay. That means Devontae's 2.
He's 2.
Jacobs is 1 now.
Is he 1 overall?
He's 1 overall.
Wow. Man, how things change quickly.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, especially the value you got for him, but like the conversation last night was great. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, go check it out. But like RBs in the 3 and the 4, man, those are your RB1s.
Yes, this year it's wild.
Last year JT was drafted like 3rd round, was he not?
Yeah, he was a rookie, wasn't he?
The last year was his 2nd year, but he was kind of late. He was slept on.
Yeah. It was definitely the year of 0 RB. That's for sure.
Maybe this is a trend. Anyway, so Jacobs and Devontae, we know that we're going to be playing them. They're your studs. Are you, though, plug in Foster Moreau this week. Rams defense allows the 12th most points to the tight end position.
I'm playing him. He's been super consistent since Waller's been out, and that's honestly this season with the tight end position. That's really all you can ask for. It's just consistency. Someone who's not going to kill you, someone who's not going to put up 2 points and kind of ruin that position for you. So if you have him out, it's an easy play for me. He's consistently getting over like 6-7 points. So with that, I think he's an easy play, even going against the Rams.
So House just posed this question. I don't know if he's watching right now. Would you go Foster Moreau or Greg Dulcich this week? Who Cortland Sutton's likely out. Denver faces. I know we have a matchup on here somewhere.
Yeah,
Kansas City. They face Kansas City.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you need from your team, right? So if you want to play it safe, I'd go Moreau. If you want the big boom, it could be Dulcich. I think Dulcich can easily get you 2 points too, but he could also get you probably 20 this week against Kansas City. It really depends. If you think your team is gonna kind of if they're supposed to win, I'd probably play Moreau. And if you need kind of a boom play, I would go with Dulcich.
I like it. I'm ready to see Dulcich break out. I'm ready for that, but that all relies on Russ.
Yeah, sorry, not to cut you off, but that's my whole reasoning for. I think Dulcich is awesome. I think he's a great player. The talent is there. It's just Russ has been so bad, and the offense as a whole has been so bad. Cortland Sutton's out, which, yeah, you think that's going to help Dulcich, but in some ways it could hurt him. They could kind of key in on him. And Judy's still, he's back from the injury, but I don't think he's 100%. With that, the defense could kind of key on him.
Yeah.
And if they can take him out of the game, we've talked about it. Like Gerald Everett, if maybe a month ago when everybody was out, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, okay, it's Gerald Everett. No worries. You're going to plug him in. He's going to get you 20 points. He put up like 2 points that week because the defense just focused on him. So
yeah.
I'm starting to kind of trend that way when players are out. I think it hurts the tight end position.
And I think Judy is a handful in himself. He just runs such good routes. If they're both out, I think I would agree with you a little bit more. But
yeah.
And I understand where you're coming from. I just think Judy pulls still enough defensive attention.
Yeah, I agree. But who else is there? It's Judy and Dulcich.
Latavius Murray, baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. Yeah.
Albert asked a question, and we'll go into it a little bit more, but because the game starts soon, I just want to kind of briefly touch on this. Would you go with Jared Goff or Derek Carr this week? I think it's Jared Goff for both
I'd
of
go
us.
Goff.
We'll tell you why in less than 5 minutes. The Rams side of the ball, Cam Akers, 17 for 60, 2 tutties.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very mid-rush defense. They're like 15th, ranks 15th, 14th or something. No, not great, not bad though. Can you trust Cam Akers for this week?
With the injuries in place and with how many buys there are this week, I think Cam Akers he's a play. I'm not anticipating 2 tutties like we did last week. I'm not anticipating 20 points. I think he'll be serviceable as like an RB2 flex play, get you maybe 10 points. He was on the field a ton. He had a good route participation. I think he had 6 or 7 routes. He was targeted a few times. I think he'll be fine. And with the quarterback changeup and all that sort of stuff, it could help him out at the end of the day with some easy dump off passes. I think he's a safe play-ish. But you can't anticipate him getting you a big week. Like I have him as like an RB, like RB20 area, RB, like low end RB2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's I think I'm closer to flex for Cam.
Yeah.
But I think that's just me being safe about the situation, right? I'd rather see it before risk my week 14 on it. But again,
if you have other options, I'd probably go with the other option.
At least consider him. So the buys this week: no Demont, no Aaron Jones, no AJ Dillon, no Brian Robinson, no Antonio Gibson, no Cordarrelle Patterson, no Tyler Algier, no Alvin Kamara, no Jonathan Taylor. That's 9 guys. I think you're starting. The problem is, I think you're typically starting all of these guys, or at least what we've seen AJ Dillon recently. I probably wouldn't start Tyler Algier over him, but I think typically you're starting the rest of these guys over Cam Akers, and now they're all out. So maybe it is one of those times where you got to plug them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am excited. The Rams surprised me last week. It was like I thought one of the better games that they played. And I think the thing to remember here is Seattle's rush defense is so bad. So bad. And he still only managed 60 yards. So I really would kind of like try to find some other options. Maybe you got James Cook, who it's still kind of a gamble, right? Like we've seen Buffalo's backfield kind of screw people over, and it wouldn't surprise me if it does again this week. Zonovan Knight, kind of a gamble, but so is Cam Akers. And these are the guys that I would rather plug in and take my risk on personally.
Yeah, I agree.
It does kind of come down to personal preference there.
Yeah.
Let's get into some best plays. And Albert already kicked us off with one because it is my favorite. I think it's really high up on yours, if not your favorite. So tell us about the first QB on the list here.
Jared Goff. We both anticipate this being a super high scoring game. So does Vegas, which always factors into it. He's got his full weapon load. Like they're all back. They're all healthy. They all look good. DJ Shark's playing really well. They're going to integrate Jameson Williams this week. I think when Jared Goff has his weapons and the offense is clicking, DeAndre Swift looked a lot better last week. He can be very good. We saw it at the beginning of the season when he had everybody. He was a top, eight QB. He can do
Amon Ra has been dealing with an injury that we didn't talk about enough. Like he was playing, but he was dealing with the injury.
And he looks healthy. And when he's healthy, he's a top 10 wide receiver. With everyone back, Minnesota's pass defense is not great. They've been getting killed the past month of the season. I think this is going to be a very high scoring game, and I am all in on Jared Goff.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this game. Look, dude, there's not many times in life it does, but people were excited about this Lions-Seattle game early in the season, and it came true. Now, does that happen twice? I don't know. I am excited for this game. I think both these teams are competing at such a high level right now that they're both going to keep going, and their defenses aren't good enough to stop anything, especially if they're always out there. If the offense is scoring too quick, the defense is going to be out there. It becomes a slippery slope. Oh gosh. I don't know. That may not be.
I have no idea.
I follow you if you can burp. Robbie, go.
I can't burp.
I can't burp. God bless it. Well, we're not getting a follow from that person. So next best play that I had here, this one's risky, right? But there's big trust here. Brock Purdy. Oh shit.
I'm very curious who this is.
We disappointed burp. Brock Purdy versus Tampa Bay. Came in early in the game. I think he played 90% of snaps, went 25 of 37 for 210, 2 tutties, 1 interception. Now he has had a week to prepare, right? He's had a week to prepare for the starting job. Teammates are hyping him up. Trent Williams is hyping him up. Brandon Ayuk is saying, hey, this guy told me he's going to feed me. Training camp hyped him up. He was talked about in training camp a ton. Tampa Bay just allowed Andy Dalton to throw for 239 and 1 TD. I get it. That's not amazing or anything, but it's not bad. No interceptions. They didn't cause any turnovers. Purdy's a bit of a deeper play, but you got Lamar. What about some of these quarterbacks that are on bye? You may really benefit from plugging him in. He has tons of weapons that are just yards after catch monsters. They're yak monsters, dude. So how much does Purdy have to actually do? Maybe not much. Just get the ball in these guys' hands. I like it, dude. I get it. I have a league that they're all kind of conspiring against me. And Brock Purdy is one of the only options out there right now. Like Goff went for 200. Huntley got picked up. Like the dude that got Goff for 200 already had Burrow and Hurts. And this is a 1 QB league. So there's some leagues that like they might look at the waivers and they see Kenny Pickett or Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing Bailey Zappi at one point. So.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. There's certain leagues that people just roster more QBs.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the play. I think Tampa's defense is good enough. I think there's a week of tape on Purdy now. I think it's going to be a very
I don't know. He was looking pretty good.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very big Christian McCaffrey game, which could, at the end of the day, help Purdy because it's going to be a lot of dump-off passes to him.
That sounds great then.
I just don't. I don't know.
I'm
not loving it.
He's 12 through 14 ranked this week for me.
Yeah, this game has all the makings of like a 13-10 game to me.
No, his QB number, but okay.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like that's the game I'm seeing. It's like 13-10.
Nobody holds Shanahan to 13.
I mean, he's never had to deal with this.
Back when he did have to deal with this, like Nick Mullins, he probably did get shut in for 13.
Yeah. I think Tampa's defense is good enough, and Tampa Bay's offense has been so bad. San Francisco's defense is so good that I think it's going to be a very grinded out, let the clock run down kind of game.
I see it a little bit differently, dude. Tom Brady's got to win here.
He's had to win the past 2 weeks, man.
And
3 weeks.
And he has.
He didn't beat the Browns, which was a ugly game.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose, dude. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm just saying that they're not going to put the ball in Lenny's hands. They're not going to put the ball in Rashad White's hands in the sense of letting him run the ball. Like they're gonna need to score,
but they can't. That's what I'm getting at.
I'll wait. I want to know. I'll take a bet here with Brock Purdy, but I need it to be ballpark of what like 12 through 15 would be.
What do we? Over under 18 points.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I'll take the under.
Yeah, I'll take over.
Yeah, I'll take the under. I'm just looking here.
It's fine. I'll shake my own hand.
The last 5 games. They've scored over. Let's go. Last 4 games, they've scored over 20 once. Against not great defenses, in all honesty.
Cleveland's defense looks better.
But who have they played is what I'm saying. They haven't played
New Orleans defense is fine.
They're fine. Seattle's defense is fine. The Browns defense is fine. The 49ers defense is elite. Elite.
Yeah. So, I mean, the 49ers defense was elite last week against Miami, and Brock Purdy still put up. How many points was that? Am I wrong? Like they destroyed them.
Who?
They destroyed Dolphins. And Purdy still put up 14.3 in 90% snaps on his first game ever played.
Okay. Well, we got our bet, so we're good.
Damn. It's about time. God bless it. All right, hit me with this last one.
Kirk Cousins. We talked about it before. I guess I got this whole game. Against Detroit. Detroit's secondary has been bad all season. We just talked about how we both anticipate it being a big.
It has to.
The world big high scoring game, big shootout. You are lagging so bad. But with that, I think it's going to be a very, very high scoring game. Kirk Cousins against bad defenses has been really good this season. So I think if you're looking for a fill-in, he's probably out there. You can pick him up, play him. Him or Goff should be out there. So I'd pick him up, play him.
I mean, I love it. Am I still lagging?
You're laggy.
Yeah. Like that bad? Like tell me when you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. That was quick. I mean, you responded right away.
Yeah, you're a little laggy, pal.
Does it sound bad? I'm confused.
It's a little iffy, and your picture's freezing pretty good.
No. Maybe you're just laggy.
Could be, but
You're not laggy on mine.
usually I get the bars that tell me.
Where do you see the bars?
Top left by the live.
Oh, nothing's popping up. All right. Here's some of the guys that we're starting them over. I'm going to start with mine. I'm benching Danny Dimes this week, dude. It's Philly. So it's going to be a tough week for Danny Dimes. He's playing one of the toughest defenses in the league, the number one. In order for Daniel Jones to be relevant for fantasy this week, it has to be rushing. He is not going to pass on this team with his weapons. Could he sneak in for 2 rushing TDs? Of course. And that would make him a safe play for you. I just don't want to put my eggs in that basket this week, so I'm not starting him.
Yeah, I'll take Huntley real quick. He's going up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense has been a lot better lately. I know the urge to play him. I get it. But let's take a step back and watch it first. Against a middle-of-the-road defense, I think there's better options out there to play. I think for me, Huntley and Purdy are in kind of the same category where I really need to see it before I can kind of dive in. Those plays are so boom or bust that it can really kill your week. If you're willing to take a loss, you can plug him in, hoping that he has a monster game. But if you're looking for a safe play, I think there's better options out there. And then on bye this week, we got A-Rod, Mariota, Jay Fields, Heineke, Lamar's hurt. So there's a ton of players out this week that you're probably looking for a quarterback to play. And I think, like I said, Kirk and Jared, if you can go get them, I'd plug those in.
So just one more thing on Huntley. I think there's this, and I think I mentioned this on one of these episodes this week. There's this huge misconception that he got in and just started dominating. And he had a huge game. He put up 35.9 against Green Bay last year. Outside of that, in the games he started and really played in, he averaged 11 points per game. That ain't going to do it for you. That ain't going to do it for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
11 points per game is it's not getting it done. It's weird because and even myself, I had to look at this. Like, was he that good? Because it felt like he went off. I thought it was multiple games. His highest game outside of the 36 was 16 points. Let's get in some RBs. Robbie, kick us off with your favorite RB of the week.
My guy, Donta Foreman. I love him.
Oh, shit.
I love him against Seattle. They've been terrible against the rush all season. I don't think there's a risk. You got a little warning here that there's a risk in our notes, but I don't think there's a risk. I think he's easily going to get over 100 yards on this defense. And with that, I think that's a safe play. The receiving work, he's not going to get a ton of receiving work, but I think the rushing upside will get you to where you need to be with an RB2 sort of day, and I think he'll find the end zone easily.
That's the only risk that I mentioned in this, because I do love this matchup. I have him in DFS. The risk is he doesn't score, because as from what we know right now, he is not catching passes. So the risk is he doesn't get a touchdown, and you end up with 11 to 13 points, which is fine, but it's not amazing, right? That's
what I'm saying. It's fine. I think his floor is fine with the upside of being a top 10 back this week.
I want to tell you one of the sneakiest plays this week in RBs. And it actually took doing the notes for this episode for me to even see this, because I don't think he's actually Sunday night. No, Jeff Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Going and look, I'm the big Jeff Wilson guy, so of course. But watching last week was real sad. We saw him get 1 carry. We saw Mostert get 8, and his carry went for 3 yards. He had 0.3, although he was on my bench list last week, so at least I'm trying to be unbiased with Jeff Wilson. But here's why: he's going against the Chargers. Jeff Wilson is fifth in breakaway runs this season. Chargers have been notorious for allowing huge rushes this season. The most 50 yards in the league, 50-yard rushes in the league have come from this defense. Last 3 games against this defense, Pacheco, 107 yards on 15 carries. Very mid running back. Connor, 120 yards on 25 carries. Dude's never put up that much yards. Like that might be his highest of the year that we close out with. Josh Jacobs, monster, 144 yards on 25 carries. This is a juicy matchup for him. This is a juicy matchup for Mostert. I would be putting them both in.
And we saw it a few weeks ago with Miami. They play to the weakness of the other team, right? So if they're going to figure it out, McDaniels will run the ball a lot this week. So I'm 100% with you.
I'm really excited for his matchup, and I think a lot of people have this stench of and this bad taste in their mouth from that 0.3, and especially watching Mostert dominate the carries. But it's a Miami, air quote, San Francisco, close quote, offense. So this is part of it, right? Like this is part of what you deal with in San Fran. It's part of the game. Go ahead with you. Well, I'll give one more and then I'll get yours after this.
Okay.
One more I wanted to add is DeAndre Swift. And I'm going to read you something. Mentioned above, I think this game is going to be a shootout, which typically means we'll see more of Swift. I expect Swift to get swifty, especially in the passing game this week. Those were my notes from last week. Let's run it back, baby.
Yeah.
It was good. And he had 21 points.
He did. He looked great.
He looked great.
Again, we anticipate this to be another super high scoring game. Swift looked healthy last week for the first time in a long time. He was getting the work. I don't see any reason for it to stop now. They're playing for playoffs. Give it to your best player.
Yeah. I want to see him just finish so strong and then be back in everybody's draft boards. You got one more here?
I got 2 more, I guess. It's the Dallas RB duo against Houston. Houston's been okay-ish against the run as of late, but season-wise, they've been terrible. Zeke's been getting a ton of carries, especially in the red zone, so he should be fine. I think he'll get like 15 carries. He'll get some pass work. He'll end up with like 50 to 60 yards. He'll probably find the end zone, so that's a solid day. And then Tony Pollard, we know what he can do. It should be Dallas will probably get up early, and they're going to kind of lean on the running backs when that happens. So look for Pollard to get very involved in the pass game early, and the end of the game, they're going to kind of use both those running backs to kind of finish it out.
These guys have been in probably, I would say, half of my lineups in DFS, one or the other. I haven't been bold enough to do both yet, but it might be something that I do consider.
Yeah, they both have the upside together. They can both be fine, and they can both be very good this week.
So RBs that were benching to the above mentioned guys. Last week I had Travis Etienne on this list. Jeff Wilson was on this list. Miles Sanders on this list. Felt it worked out. This week we're telling you, Robbie.
Go ahead.
You might have seen he put up 12 points against the Cleveland rush defense. It was RB22 in the week. And you said, you know what? There's hope. There's hope. But there's not, Rob. Not against this defense. And maybe not against the rest of the season's defenses.
Yeah, I don't think it's a him problem.
That's true.
Dameon Pierce.
We're
talking Dameon Pierce.
Closure. Dameon Pierce against this Dallas defense. Bench him. Don't do it.
Get this guy a quarterback that can open the field for him.
Which maybe you bring up a good point and hopefully a positive for him. He was much better with Davis Mills. Much better. The 3 games that he played with Kyle Allen, RB45, RB53, RB22. Everything before then was great.
Get him a quarterback that can open the field.
Well, I guess Davis Mills is that answer. I had another one here Travis Etienne, I'm running back on the bench here.
Yeah.
This is tough. I get it. Like, you're really scraping at the barrel as it is. We have a ton of bye weeks, but like if there's another option for you, if there's a wide receiver that you're considering that needs to be in your lineup, Travis Etienne is the guy that obviously, if you could work the flex out in this position, he's the one that I would want to bench. Tennessee has such a solid rush defense.
Yeah.
Not only is it solid, teams are just funneling their offenses through their QB in these matchups, throwing to Tennessee's secondary, which has been horrendous. So it's the opposite of what we see teams do to Houston. Teams are just going to run the ball down Houston's throat, same way that teams are just throwing the ball down Tennessee's throat. Etienne can have a decent day. It would heavily rely on his involvement in the passing game, which has not been overly encouraging this season. So if I could find an option, it's going to be tough. He's out of my RB2 zone this week. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I'm high on Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram this week. I think they're both going to have really good games. Like you said, they're probably going to drop back and pass the ball 40 to 50 times.
Yeah, Marvin Jones, very sneaky DFS play, maybe.
Yeah, and
it's kind of a dart throw. It's kind of
Yeah.
a dart throw, but it's one that I'll be willing to take. Because it's cheap. It's real cheap.
Yeah.
You got an RB on this list?
Yeah, Najee Harris, House against Baltimore. Since Baltimore has traded for Roquan Smith from Chicago, they have been unbelievable against the run. Last week, 43 yards, 0 touchdowns against Murray. Etienne and Hasty combined for 14 rushes, 31 yards. Dante Foreman, you know my love for Dante Foreman, 11 rushes, 24 yards, 0 touchdowns. They have been very, very good against the run at the past month. Najee is dealing with that oblique injury. I think he missed today's practice again. So if you can sit him out, I would.
Yeah, and I mean there's something to say about RBs against Baltimore catching the pass. Like we saw Hasty do really well catching the pass, catching from the quarterback. That's where the damage was done for him that day. But Najee has had just one target in 3 of his 4 last games. So he it's 1, 1, and 4 somewhere in there too. So he's not really getting targeted that much in the pass games. It's just tough to trust Najee this week. Let's talk about some wide receivers that we're loving. I'm going to give you 2, and then I'm going to ask you for some deep plays here. Jerry Jeudy versus Kansas City. I have in the notes, insert the who would have thought? Not me meme, you know? We're talking about Jerry Jeudy. After what we've seen all year in week 14, we're talking about Jerry Jeudy being on the start list. Yes. He does work against man coverage, and Kansas City runs a ton of man coverage. Cortland's unlikely to play this week. I get it. I know you put your hands in trust in Russ, but Jeudy gets open, man. He's going to be a solid play this week. And like, could it be a 7 for 70 day? No TDs? Sure. That's 14 points. I think it's a guy that people are easily benching when we'll talk about some of the guys that we're benching instead. He's a guy that could be on your bench and you're playing somebody that might not even come close to that. So, anything to add on that, or should I just go to my next one?
No, I'm fine with that. Again, it's just tough to trust the offense as a whole, but I think if there's one guy this week from Denver, it's Jeudy.
George Pickens versus Baltimore. I put this one on our list last week. And also, I forgot that I did that with Cody. So maybe these all sound unfamiliar to you. You were out vacationing, living large. George Pickens versus Baltimore. I'm doubling down, dude, because I had him here last week and he gave me 3 yards. I whiffed big time.
Yeah, you did.
The way to score against Baltimore's defense is in their secondary, and Pickens will be heavily involved this week. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Play him. I'm telling you, do it. Do it.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease, huh?
What?
Plug and play.
It's a plug and play, baby.
Yeah, I like Pickens this week. Like you said, and like I said, the rush defense has been great. They're gonna have to throw the ball. They want to win.
And like there's I will also say as a caveat of both these plays there's not too many bad matchups for wide receivers this week. So, like, yes, I think I have both these guys. I'll have them in my top 24 wide receivers, but there isn't terrible matchups this week. Not that I noticed. You have some deep plays for us?
I do. Thielen against Detroit. We keep
You're
talking
just going
about,
right back to the well, huh?
yeah, we keep talking about this game, but for a deep play, Thielen, he's been, I think he's like wide receiver 30 this season. He has been very, very good against bad defenses. So Detroit's a bad defense. I think it's going to be an easy play. I think they're going to throw the ball a ton. Detroit's going to put points up, so they're going to have to put points up. Look for Thielen to have a nice day. He should find the end zone. Another one from this game, DJ Shark versus, against Minnesota. Obviously, 11 targets over the last two games. He's been very solid the past since he came back from that injury. He was solid before the injury. Him and Jared Goff have a very good connection. They had it in the preseason. They continue to throughout the season.
Role?
Yeah, pretty much. Look for him to have a pretty nice day. I'm very curious to see how they, if they slow play Jamison Williams in. He could eat into some of Shark's routes, which would be not great. But I don't anticipate him to get on the field a ton this week.
No, they barely ran him last week. He was a gunner on special teams at some point.
Yeah, the offense is clicking so well. Why kind of mess it up? I know you want to see what you got with them, but I think they're going to definitely slow play him into this offense. And then one more. This is your guy. You talk about him a lot, Demarcus Robinson versus Pitt. 21 targets in the last 3. Huntley targeted him 7 times last week.
Out of 8. He had 8. He had 8 total targets. Obviously, Lamar targeted him once before going down.
Gotcha. So obviously, Huntley likes throwing to him. They're going to throw the ball a lot. Pitt's 30th against wide receivers in fantasy points. Plug him in. He's probably going to have a very nice day. I don't think he'll kill you, and I'm in on him this week.
Yeah, and those are deeper plays. Like those the 3 that you just mentioned, like we're not just plugging these guys in over, I don't know, Christian Kirk or, like those are deep. Those Godwin, are like, hey, are you looking for a waiver wire plug and play? Here they are. But the 2 mentioned before, Jerry Jeudy and Pickens, I would consider playing over these wide receivers. And I'm notorious for this, and I'm scared shitless. And I'm just going to put it out on the line, dude. I'm real worried about Jamar Chase this week. Am I benching him? I don't know. So here's the huge too cute alert, right? If you don't know the story about Justin Jefferson going against New England, I was worried. I have a stacked team. I saw Jeff Wilson was playing Houston. I said, you know what? Justin Jefferson, come on out here. I'll put Jeff Wilson in. It ended up, I was roasted because that was a Thursday night game. It was Thanksgiving. I got roasted from Thursday all the way till Tuesday. Never end. But I'm back at it again. Jamar Chase worries me. Brown's secondary and defense overall is playing better. And Burrow has always gotten rocked against the Browns. Myles Garrett gets to him. Clowney gets to him. I think Burrow will do fine. I don't think Burrow is a bench here. I don't think he'll have any issues. He actually typically never, fantasy-wise, always does pretty well against the Browns. But they have to get the ball out quick. In order to win or compete in this game, they need to get the ball out quick. That is not Jamar Chase's game necessarily. They have made times and adjustments where it is. But Chase is going to see Ward all day. That is going to be Denzel Ward's territory. I have huge concerns about Jamar Chase this week. I could see a stat line of 2 for 59 finished.
Yeah, I get it 100%. They've been playing, the secondary has been really nice. The defensive line has been getting to the quarterback the past few games. So I get where you're coming from.
It's so weird that you see Burrow just rocks Mahomes. Mahomes rocks Allen. But the Browns always rock Burrow. It's just this weird cycle.
Yeah.
It's the only victory that we could take. Did you have a guy you're benching?
Juju against Denver. Surtain's been unbelievable this season. I think we can kind of put him in the elite category of cornerbacks. Only 11 targets in the last 3 games. He hasn't been heavily involved. Ever since that injury, he has not been the Juju of that month where he was looking like a top 10 receiver. He worries me this week. Denver's defense has been very, very solid against the pass all year. I know it's Patty Mahomes and all that, but I don't think there's one receiver on this team you can trust besides Kelsey.
And like, the dude has only 11 targets in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
When in 3 games early at some point in the season, he had 24. So like, it's just weird. They're just getting a lot of these other young wide receivers involved. Tony might be back. Like, I don't know. It just sucks because I really wanted Juju to do well. But like, after watching this, if he closes out how he's been playing the last 3 weeks, I don't think they re-sign him. I guess it just depends on what they expect from Tony.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. He was nice earlier in the season for them. He kind of filled somewhat of the hole left by Tyreek, but maybe they're anticipating Tony to take that role moving forward. But Tony can't stay healthy, right? So they might have to sign Juju back unless they hope Sky Moore turns into that.
Oh yeah, he will easily. He's so good. Let's go to tight ends.
Yeah.
I just want to say this before we talk about our 2 plays here. We have the way that our notes read is, guys, I'm starting these tight ends over, and there's nobody there, right? Because they're all just this kind of big old mess of tight ends.
Yep.
It's just it's Kelsey, Andrews, and others. Maybe you throw in Hawkinson and Goddard when he's healthy. Anyways, one of the tight ends that is typically wouldn't need to be on this list, but I'm seeing a lot of hate because of Purdy, because of how his performance has been the past couple of weeks. George Kittle versus Tampa Bay. Look, this is another one that got the repeat offender, as you will in my notes. I whiffed on him last week, but if you're having concerns over starting him, fear not. Tampa Bay has been so bad against the tight end. Has been so bad against the tight end, but Purdy didn't look to Kittle much last game. He really didn't. So that would be people's concern. They're like, oh, he only targeted him, I think it was twice. Why would I play this guy? I think this game plan changes, though. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to want to be able to give Purdy the safety blanket, and there's no better safety blanket than George Kittle. And I get it. He's kind of got multiple ones. He's got Debo. He's got CMC now. I think they want to make sure that Purdy is comfortable and he develops and gets ready for playoffs the best he can. So they're going to have an out here with Kittle. That's my take on it. He's an easy play for me this week.
It scares me, but I think you got to play him.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem too. Is like it was kind of a cop out having him in our top plays. You know, like you're not. Most teams that have George Kittle are not ballsy enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to bench him for Noah Fant. Like, it's not happening. But I just want to. Maybe this is a reassurance play for you.
Yeah. I'll give you a couple of my guys. I have a few of them that I want to kind of quickly touch on. Hunter Henry against Arizona. I always say it when we talk about the tight end position. Arizona's defense is so bad against the tight end. Hunter Henry's been getting more involved in this offense. Jacoby might not play. I think he's a solid play for this week. He should get targeted a good amount. I also like Evan Ingram. We talked about it prior. He's got a very good matchup against Tennessee. We know that they can stop the run, but they can't stop the pass. They're going to throw the ball a ton. So when they throw the ball a ton, Evan Ingram is going to get involved. So I'm looking for him to have a nice day. One other guy, Mara, you talked about it. You just said it, Noah Fant. I really think he's it's safe play this week. He's going up against Carolina. He's been getting more involved also. So that's the way I look at it. Moving with how bad the tight end position has been, I kind of try to find a trend where they're actually a team's trying to get a tight end involved. I think it's Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, and I also like Noah Fant.
Nice, dude. Giving the people options at tight end in a place where it's not easy.
Yeah. Some of these guys might be picked up. Some of them might not be. You might be struggling to find a tight end to play this week. I like those three. I think one of them should be on your waivers to go pick up and play if you're questioning someone you're going to play.
Love it. Robbie, do you want to hit DFS tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll hop on. So we'll hop on tomorrow about 3:30, 4 o'clock. We're still kind of going back and forth on that. We'll see where we're at. Me and Mario are going to hop on again. It'll be a quick segment where we'll just go over our DFS plays, have a separate episode for that on Fridays for you guys. In and out.
Well, for the rest of the season, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I guess
Maybe
the
I'll
rest
have
of the
a drink.
season will
We'll
be a
see.
little bit early January. Yeah. So maybe not the rest of the season for me, but at least for the rest of the year, I can make Fridays.
We'll make it work.
Yeah,
people.
baby. For
the people.
Robbie's lineup's for sure just going to be
Minnesota versus Detroit.
Yeah.
It might be.
It definitely.
Buckle up.
Preview, I do have a lineup that's like that.
It's not a bad idea.
It's loaded. I think there's
Maybe
a
a couple Jacksonville receivers in there.
What?
Maybe a couple Jacksonville receivers.
Maybe that's a good call. I'd have DeMarcus Robinson there currently. If you're not already following us on DadBod, check us out at DadBodFS, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, DadBod Fantasy Squad if you want to rewatch or replay the video. We'll also post the recordings to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Robbie?
All the major streaming platforms.
For myself, for Robbie Bobby, peace.